Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Today, the Russian trawler, which picked up Mary, Harry, Calvin, Pop, and Miss Rodgers at sea, has just docked at Rose Wharf in Boston. And our friends are awaiting instructions on proceeding through customs, as we hear.
Well, we just have to follow orders now. They said to leave by this gangplank and proceed directly to that door over there where it says U.S. Customs.
I discovered that we weren't standing on the orlop deck. That's the lowest deck on a war vessel.
Well, I don't know.
Where they keep cables coiled up. We were on the forward poop.
I thought we were, not on an orlop desk.
No, it didn't seem like an orlop deck to me. Oh, I see what you mean, Miss Rodgers.
What does she mean? I don't know.
That band assembled there on the dock.
Oh, is that for us, do you suppose?
I don't know. They're waving at us.
Hey, you wait. Hello. We're the Backstages.
I'm Harry Backstage, famous Broadway star. This is my wife, Mary Backstage.
I'm Mary Backstage.
I'm not a Backstage, really. I'm Calvin Hoover.
I'm Pop, beloved stage door man. I'm also in Westchester Furioso, where I tap dance. That's Miss Rodgers, who's going to be added to the cast by Greg. There's Greg down there on the dock.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Greg.
Welcome to Boston.
Well, we're happy to be here. You wouldn't know what we've been through. We were taken out of Mystic Seaport by Captain...
Well, hold it. Wait till you get through customs and you can tell me everything.
Yes. How soon do we depart the vessel?
Well, as soon as you can get off. As soon as you get an okay from the captain, you can... Can you hear me up there?
Yes.
As soon as you get the okay from the captain, you can leave the vessel.
Well,
okay, strike up the band. Brought a little band along for you.
Hey, that's a very nice touch, Mr. Barlow. A real musical welcome here in Boston. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have a message for you, Miss Rodgers. No, I don't know. I'll see you when you get through customs.
Captain, I wonder if we could have the right to leave the ship, to disembark now.
Do not proceed.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you for saving us. Go ahead, Mary. You first.
All right.
Now me. All right, now we just go through that door over there. Greg,
let me hold the door for you. There you are.
Come right in here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, hello, sir. We just got off this Russian fishing trawler, and they told us we had to go through customs now.
That's right. Well, it's just a mere formality. My name is Mr. O'Reilly. I'm the customs inspector here. Do you have any luggage?
No, I'm afraid we don't.
You see, do you have time for a story? Because we have a long one to tell you, sir.
Well, wait till I get Mr. Marlowe. He'll hear it at the same time. You won't have to tell it twice. Mr. Marlowe?
I better stay in back of the counter. I don't want to go through customs.
Well, it's just a formality.
Uh-huh.
Let me have that can of spray deodorant there, will you, please?
There you are.
All right.
What in the world is that?
Well, we do this to anybody coming into the country from a foreign vessel.
Oh, hey.
All right. Now, do you want to tell that long story while Mr. Marlowe can hear it?
Hey. You got this stuff all over me.
Well, that's an old suit anyway.
Well, I know it's an old suit, but who needs that all over you?
Well, you see, we stopped at Mystic Seaport, Connecticut.
Smell like a gasoline tank. What's in that stuff, anyway?
Oh, it's a chemical of some kind.
What, does it kill all walking insects or something?
That's right, and it has a very pleasant odor, too, you'll notice.
Not particularly.
Well, anyway, we were shag-eyed by Captain Larson aboard the whaling boat, the Morgan, the Charles W. Morgan. He was going to Yokohama.
That's right. He's going to go to Yokohama. Then he put us over the side in the dinghy when we explained to him our situation.
Then we were picked up by the Russian fishing boat, the captain of which you just saw there on the orlop deck.
Is that, do you follow?
Yes, I think I've got the story. Have you, Mr. Marlowe?
Why, I guess I understand it. Oh, Miss Rodgers, I have information for you. You must return to New York immediately.
And And so our friends have arrived in Boston and are proceeding through customs. You want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Greg Marlowe say,
Miss Rodgers, you must return to New York. It's very important.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Now, I understand you listened to the Bob and Ray show and then you listened to another radio program.
Yes, I did. I compared the two.
And what were the results of your comparison?
Well,
Which one did you like better?
the Bob and Ray show.
And would you tell us why, sir?
Yes, because I averaged 27.3 miles per gallon.
And now, the makers of grime, the magic shortening that spreads like lard, invite you to join us for another episode of The Gathering Dusk. As we look in on the Bessinger household today, Edna is still bedridden. It's late afternoon, and Mr. Fairfax, the crusading editor of the Red Boiling Springs newspaper, is just entering the room.
Oh, crusading editor Fairfax. It was good of you to come over so quickly.
Well, I consider myself a public servant, Edna. When you called, I felt it my duty to come. After all, you've been a loyal subscriber to the Red Boiling Springs Weekly Clarion and Express Herald for a good many years now.
Yes, I always get a lot of enjoyment out of your paper. All except the crossword puzzles. I do get pretty peeved about them.
Well, what's wrong with our crossword puzzles? We haven't had any other complaints.
Well, they just have words in them that no one could possibly know. Now, last week, a 5-letter word for South American anteater. My lands, this is a Midwestern farming community. Did you ever see a South American anteater around here?
No. Well, I suppose they're all in South America.
Well, that's what I mean. I must have asked 5 or 6 people about that word, and not one of them knew. You should stick to pigs and cows and sheep and things like that.
Well, of course, most people use a dictionary or an encyclopedia for words they don't know in crossword puzzles.
Well, that seems like cheating to me. I remember Daddy used to work crossword puzzles, and he'd never use a dictionary.
I also remember that your father would call me up in the middle of the night whenever he'd get stuck on a crossword puzzle. He was a queer duck.
I always looked upon him as a leading citizen.
I'll never forget the time he put window boxes on that Pierce Arrow of his. And then he'd have to stop driving the thing because geraniums grew up in front of the windshield and he couldn't see out.
Well, he was a little bit eccentric about some things, I suppose.
Yes, he was. But I'm sure you didn't call me over here just to talk about your father, Edna. Is there something I can do for you?
Yes, there is, crusading editor Fairfax. I know how your paper has been campaigning against gambling houses in this county, and I thought you should know that there's one of them going full tilt right upstairs over my room.
Oh, that's impossible, Edna. There's nothing above this room except an attic. There isn't even a stairway leading up to it.
I hear the dice rolling up there every night, sometimes until 3 or 4 in the morning.
Well, it must be squirrels rolling acorns across the floor. Everybody in town knows you have squirrels in your attic.
My lands, I'll bet that's what it is. Well, you've really taken a tremendous load off my mind, crusading editor Fairfax. I almost feel as if I'm no longer standing in the gathering dusk.
Ladies, there's nothing worse than a shortening that's filled with little pieces of fur and steel filings. That's why you'll go for grime, the magic shortening that spreads like lard. Try some today and be sure to join us next time when Edna goes to the village in the gathering dusk. Now it's time for another informative session with Dr. Elmer Stapley, the word wizard. Dr. Stapley is one of the nation's leading authorities on the meaning and derivation of English words, and he's here to answer questions that you listeners send in about our language and its correct use. You ready to set forth on the first question, Doctor?
Well, Mr. Elliott, your inquisitory remark is not only grammatically implausible, but mathematically resplendent as well. One can't set fourth on the first question because fourth is the number between third and fifth, while first is right before second and after 0, which is purely a hypocritical figure. Thus forth, you're asking me to do numbers out of their natural consequence. Do I make myself understated?
Well, not quite, no, but as long as we're into this thing, might as well have you set forth on the first question. To open up this week's session, I have this letter from a woman in Illinois who writes, Why do people riding horseback shout whoa when they want the animal to stop?
Well, I think this woman has just heard a shortified version of the whole thing. Many people who get on a horse for the first time soon wish they hadn't. So they're really shouting, woe is me. But, of course, they usually fall off the horse before they have time to yell anything more than just whoa.
Doctor, I've heard people shout whoa who didn't fall off the horse at all. Don't you want to reconsider your answer?
No, I'll remain disconnected.
All right. Well, I was hoping that's the way you'll remain. You never seem to, though. So we'll take up another question right after we hear this. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. At the immigration station on Rose Wharf in Boston, Mary, Harry, Pop, Calvin, and Miss Rodgers have just passed through customs. Now we hear Greg Marlowe explaining why Miss Rodgers must return to New York and not appear in Westchester Furioso.
I've made arrangements with a psychiatrist in New York, Miss Rodgers, who assures me that with proper treatment, he can take care of your dippa-dippa-does, your dippa-dippa-doos.
Say, that's wonderful news, Greg. Oh, I see Miss Rodgers is very happy to hear that news.
Yes, he said it a matter of 3 or 4 weeks, and he thinks he can steer you out of that. It's a mental block with you, he said, and he thinks he can straighten it out.
It only happens when she tries to talk, you know. She can sing perfectly.
And unfortunately, Miss Rodgers, will have to eliminate you, of course, from the touring Westchester Furioso. But I want you to know this, Miss Jerri Rodgers, that we've admired your spunk, and you've added a lot to Westchester Furioso the short time that we considered having your song in the show.
Yes, that goes for me too, Greg, although I can't say it the same for Mary. I guess she's a little bit relieved to see Miss Rodgers leave the cast.
Oh,
right?
I don't know. I just hope that Miss Rodgers gets her dippa-dippa-doo straightened out, and maybe she could join us when we get up to Vermont or up Cape Cod later with Westchester Furioso.
Going to miss hearing that song that you added to the show. Do you suppose she could sing it one more time?
Wait a minute, Miss Rodgers, speaking for the rest of the cast of Westchester Furioso, before you leave to have your dippa-dippa-dups and your dippa-dippa-doos repaired, I wonder, would you favor us once more with that song that you sang?
Yeah, we'd love to hear it again.
Beautiful Missouri.
Would you do it for us?
Dippa-dippa-doo, dippa-dippa-da.
So strange, she could sing so well.
It's part of a mental block.
Where enchantment surrounds you, merely taking your breath away. Friendly people will greet you with their smiles warm and tenderly. It's a bit of paradise underneath Missouri skies, Missouri for me.
Oh, that was great, Miss Rodgers. Thank you.
Dippa-dippa-da.
And we'll all miss you, but
Dippa-doo.
good luck. Dippa-doo to you, too.
Yeah, dippa to you, Miss Rodgers, and we'll see you again real soon.
Now we're off for Chelsea. And so our friends have arrived in Boston. You want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Greg Marlowe say,
On stage, everybody.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Let's move along to another question with Dr. Elmer Stapley, the word wizard. This is from a man in Texas who writes, I keep getting cards in the mail with holes punched in them, and up at the top they always say, do not fold, spindle, or mutilate. I can understand about not folding and spindling, but I thought mutilation was merely what you did to take 4 times 8 and get 32. And that seems harmless. Can you explain the term so I'll understand why they won't let me mutilate if I want to?
Well, actually, I've never seen that phrase printed on anything I get in my mail. People who write to me always begin by saying, "Dear occupant."
Yeah, that's a new one on me too, Doctor. Probably just another of those quaint things that people in Texas say to each other, huh? So let's move along to another question. Is from a lady in North Dakota. She says, my husband and I have been invited to go clear down to Bismarck for a party at the governor's mansion. Naturally, I want to appear cultured when I'm introduced to the governor. Should I say, it ain't often that riffraff, the likes of us, goes partying? Or is it more proper to say, it pleasures us right smart to be allowed in your parlor this away?
Well, I think she should just hand the governor a printed card that says, "I do not speak English."
Yeah, I think that's a good tactic to employ when in doubt. I always use cards like that when people from the IRS come around. And they should work just as well as the governor of North Dakota, I guess. So I'm sure that woman's problem is solved. And thanks to you for stopping by and helping her and the other afflicted listeners.
Not at all. I was mortified to come.
Hope all of you will join us again at another time for another informative session with Dr. Elmer Stapley, the Word Wizard. And now the Cretchford Braid and Tassel Company invite you to share another warm, nostalgic episode in the lives of the Pittmans.
I know I shall always remember those carefree years of the Great Depression when I was a boy growing up amid the farmlands of Oklahoma. In my mind, I can still see my father starting out to market in that old truck of his. He would always have the back filled to overflowing with bushel baskets of dust that he had harvested from our fields. That was 40 years ago. But in my memory, it was all like yesterday. I recall particularly well one evening when I arrived home long after sunset to greet my parents with the enthusiasm of boyhood.
Hey, Ma. Hey, Pa, looky. I got a whole dime from that salesman who was showing his line over at the general store today.
Well, I was hoping you might have a good reason for being late to supper, Jimmy Joe. But I'm afraid that hanging around with a dry goods drummer is not much of an excuse.
Oh, I wasn't just hanging around, Pa. He gave me this dime for waxing his car. Of course, I had to buy my own wax, but I still came out 4 cents ahead.
Well, I just don't know about all this, Jimmy Joe. That seems like a great deal of money to give a child just for polishing a car.
I know how stern you are about having us do a day's work for a day's pay, Ma. But this man had just sold 24 pair of socks to a store in Bartlesville, and he was loaded. I even saw him flash a $1 bill.
Oh, I don't see any real harm in what the boy did, Lucretia. You know, he's always saying he wants to be a writer someday. And to do that, a person has to talk to folks who've been out in the world and seen everything there is to see.
Yeah, and this salesman told me all about the exotic places he's been. Ardmore, Stillwater, gosh knows where all. It was so exciting, I scribbled down my childish impressions on this scratch pad. They can be part of my unpublished works when I grow up. Can I read you what I wrote?
Well, maybe someday, but your fried dough's getting cold now.
Oh, this will only take a second, Ma. Here's all I have. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man, down to the sunless sea. That's it so far, Ma.
Well, so far as I'm concerned, that's it, period. The very idea, 12-year-old writing about pleasure domes. I knew they had those in Tulsa, but I hadn't heard about Xanadu.
Well, it's just a mythical place, Ma. I don't see why that's any reason for you to hate the whole poem.
Nah, don't fret, Jimmy Joe. She didn't say she hated it exactly. So why don't you just toss your paper in the fireplace, where it'll help make a nice big blaze. And then you run along to bed, son.
Oh, okay. Good night, Pa. Good night, Ma.
Good night, Jimmy Joe. Good night, Aunt Harriet.
Good night, my dear. Good night, Carruthers.
Good night, baby Lucille. Good night, Fred Jr.
Good night, Ma. Good night, Vice President Garner.
And across the long span of time, I can still hear those dear, sweet voices calling out to me. The love that bound us together then shall bind us together for the rest of our lives.
Good night, Uncle Kermit. Good night, Dick Tracy.
My brothers and sisters have all grown and moved away from the old farmhouse. That was the first home we ever knew.
Good night, windowsills. Good night, Doors.
But somehow, a part of us will always remain behind, there amid the prairies of Oklahoma, where we all grew up together.
This week's episode of The Pittmans has been brought to you by the Cretchford Braid and Tassel Company, makers of fine doodads to hang down from the arms of your overstuffed chairs. Next time you feel the urge to add a touch of splendor to your dismal living room, phone a dealer near you and say Cretchford. And be sure to join us next time for more nostalgic warmth in the lives of the Pittmans. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. It's shortly after our last episode now on Rose Wharf in Boston as Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin stand talking with Greg Marlowe, who has just announced that there's been a change in plans. We hear it.
We have this change just been handed to me by my agent, who says that instead of Chelsea, we're being booked now into Meredith, New Hampshire, where we're to open on Wednesday evening.
Well, I wonder if that's such a good idea, Greg. Meredith certainly isn't as big as a suburb of Boston like Chelsea is.
Well, I don't want to question my agent. He seems to know the area completely, and he says that they draw from as far away as Peterborough there in Meredith, and
oh, that's okay, then.
Hudson, even from all the way over from Hudson, people have been known to come to the theater there in Meredith.
And it's beautiful country up that way, too. You'll really enjoy the bucolic atmosphere.
And I imagine spring is just, maybe 1 or 2 weeks behind what they have back in New York along about now.
Yes, that's true. It should be an ideal time to play Meredith.
Oh, I'm quite thrilled with the prospect because I have so many guests, relatives who live up there.
That's
I thought maybe I could serve as a guest and maybe we could live at one of my relatives' homes.
Say, that would be good, Calvin.
An old uncle and an old aunt who lives up there in Meredith. So that's very fortuitous.
Hey, that may make it possible for the whole cast to stay with them.
I had thought that maybe we could stay at a motel, but if we could work it out to stay at your relatives, I think that would be great.
That would be a big saving, too, Greg. Get us off on a good financial footing with this tour.
I have this bus here. I've been able to pick up. I managed to pick this up over here in Cambridge earlier this morning. It's the old Mal Hallett orchestra bus.
Say, that reminds me, we left the Johnny Long bus back in Mystic Seaport,
I've taken care of that. I'm having it brought back to our office in New York.
Oh, good. Well,
And, it's going to be put up in Bayside, Queens, until we can use it back around the New York area.
Are we going to have a driver for this bus, or will we take turns ourselves?
I thought maybe you have a chauffeur's license, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I do too, you know. I have a chauffeur's license.
Oh, and we're in good shape then.
Where's Pop? I haven't seen him.
Right here, there.
Oh, he was standing behind that lobster net there. I couldn't see you.
Yeah, I wish we were going to be here long enough to have a good lobster dinner. I could stand one.
Well, maybe we can get them up in Meredith. How long a ride will that be from here?
Do you know, Greg?
Oh, let's see. We'll go up Route 3, of course. We should be up in Meredith about 2.5 hours or so.
Of course, that isn't the heart of the lobster country like Boston would
So
be.
let's get aboard now, and we can probably stop and get a bite to eat halfway up there.
I haven't had anything since that beef stroganoff on board the Charles W. Morgan.
I wanted to ask you, how was the food on the Russian trawler?
Well, it wasn't too bad once the captain got to know our likes and dislikes. And we were only on there a day or two, you know.
Pretty good, for food that was strange to us. I had no idea what that was we had for breakfast. Do you know what that was?
No, I don't, Mary.
It was French toast.
Oh,
that's
really?
right, yes.
Well, that's...
Then we had some borscht. That was very good, too.
Yeah, that was pretty good, that borscht. And they put whipped cream on it. I thought it was strawberry shortcake that melted in the sun.
Well, that's a surprise taste, isn't it?
Oh, was I ever surprised.
Well, who's going to drive first? Greg, you want me to take over?
If you would, please.
All right.
But I'll be able to show Mary all of the sights here in Boston as we go through it.
Let's get aboard.
You know your way out of the...
Yes, I think so.
Okay, fine.
Greg? Here we go, then. Say this is the old Mal Hallett bus.
Mal Hallett and his orchestra traveled Canopy Lake Park here to Kimball Starlight.
Oh, yes, in Wakefield.
Right.
Well, we're off for Meredith. Hang on, everyone. Oh, Greg.
Yeah.
What about our luggage?
Oh, darn. I forgot about that.
And so our friends leave Boston, bound for Meredith, New Hampshire, and opening of Westchester Furioso. You want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
You better stop, Harry. The cop is flagging us down.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
And Wally Ballou is standing by with an on-the-scene report now. Come in, please, Wally Ballou.
If that's some kind of a joke back there, I don't consider it funny in any way, shape, or form. This is Wally Ballou at Harold, Long Island with the trophy train. Mr. Gilmore, how are things going?
Pretty good, Mr. Ballou. I like that kind of a jerky theme song they
Well, I
give you
didn't
now.
like it. If that's meant to be something funny and framing my broadcasts, the higher-ups will hear about it in the B&R organization.
Well, maybe it's a Bob and Ray joke. I get quite a kick out of it, hearing that dum-dee-dum.
I know how it goes. It didn't strike me as being very funny either.
Well, I tell you, we've had so much heartache here with the trophy train today that any little laugh is more than welcome.
Yeah, I suppose that's
As I
right.
explained earlier to you, we arrived here at Harold Junction this morning, and we were so close to the car wash, you know, where they run the cars through, that we thought we'd run the trophy train through the car wash and get it all spruced up for its stay here in the siding at
Which was a
Harold.
good idea on its own.
Well, yes, it's a good idea, except that somebody, whoever was responsible, and ultimately that would be me because I'm in charge of the train, left the windows open in the trophy car, and we had severe water damage.
Yeah, I can see they're still mopping some of it up there.
They've been mopping since 11 o'clock this morning.
And
when we
people
went through.
walk through here with these wet floors. They've tracked mud all over the rich carpeting that was
I
on
know. What's a mother to do?
Well, that's right. And yes, you made me feel a little bit better now than when I first signed on. And that's the story then. Things will be put in order for tomorrow's full day of operation of the Bob and Ray Trophy Train here in Harold. Now, this is radio's Wally Ballou, returning it.